There's a specific moment that leaves people feeling completely disoriented, and it usually happens right after they've finally worked up the courage to confront someone about something real. You bring up something true, something that actually happened, something that hurt you. And somehow, within minutes, you're the one apologizing. If that's ever happened to you, you didn't imagine it, and you're not bad at arguing. What you experienced has a name, and once you understand how it works, it becomes almost impossible for it to catch you off guard again. It's called DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. It's a term coined by psychologist Jennifer Freed, and it describes one of the most consistent, most predictable patterns in narcissistic behaviour. Let's break it down piece by piece, because each letter matters. D is for deny. This is always the first move, and it's rarely subtle. You bring up something specific, a comment, an action, a broken promise, and the very first response is a flat denial. That never happened. I never said that. Sometimes it's even more unsettling than a simple denial. It's a denial delivered with total confidence. No hesitation, no searching for memory, just an immediate clean rejection of reality. This is often the first moment that plants seeds of self-doubt, because most of us, when we lie, hesitate. We stumble a little. Our eyes shift, there's some discomfort visible. A practiced denial doesn't have any of that discomfort, and that confidence is precisely what makes you start to wonder if maybe you're the one who's misremembering. A is for attack. The moment denial alone doesn't fully shut the conversation down, the response shifts to attack, and it's rarely about the original topic anymore. You're so sensitive. You always do this. This is exactly why nobody wants to be around you. Notice what happened there. The conversation has completely left the original issue, and now you're the one being described as the problem. This attack phase often escalates quickly, bringing up old, unrelated grievances, criticizing your tone, your timing, your character, anything except the actual thing you brought up. And this is deliberate, whether fully conscious or not, because an attack is a much faster way to end a conversation than an honest response would be. RVO is for reverse victim and offender, and this is the part that leaves the deepest damage, because by the end of it, the entire story has flipped. You started the conversation as the person who was hurt. By the end of it, somehow, they're the one who's hurt, exhausted, unfairly accused or under attack, and you're the one who now feels the need to comfort or reassure them. This reversal is often so complete that people walk away from these conversations literally apologising for bringing up their own pain in the first place. If you've ever ended a conversation about something that hurt you by saying, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up," that sentence is often the clearest sign that DARVO just happened in front of you. Let's talk about why this works so consistently well, even on people who are intelligent, self-aware, and have seen the pattern before. Part of it is speed. DARVO typically happens fast, within seconds or minutes, which means you're processing an emotional attack in real time, without the space to step back and notice the pattern as it's unfolding. Part of it is also social conditioning. Most people, especially empathetic people, are trained from childhood to de-escalate conflict, to check if the other person is okay, to smooth things over. DARVO exploits that instinct directly, because the moment they appear hurt or wronged, your instinct to soothe kicks in automatically, even when logically, you know you are the one who brought up something legitimate. Here's something important to understand because it changes how you respond going forward. DARVO isn't really about winning the specific argument, it's about training you, over time, not to bring things up at all. Every single time this pattern plays out, and you end up apologising for something you didn't do, it becomes a little more exhausting, a little more not worth it, to raise the next issue. That's the actual function of DARVO, not to resolve conflict, to make you stop raising it. So what actually works when you recognise DARVO happening in real time? The first thing is naming it internally, even if you never say the word out loud to them. The moment you recognise, this is denial, this is attack, this is a reversal, you regain a small but crucial amount of clarity, even in the middle of the conversation. The second is refusing to argue the counterattack. If they bring up something unrelated, an old grievance, a criticism of your tone, you do not have to follow that thread. You can simply return to the original point. I hear that, but I was talking about what happened yesterday. This sounds simple, and it is simple, but it's incredibly difficult to do in the moment, because every instinct will pull you toward defending yourself against a new attack instead. The third, and probably the hardest, is tolerating the discomfort of not resolving things in that conversation. DARVO thrives on your desire for closure. If you can let a conversation end without a resolution, without them agreeing, without you convincing them of anything, you remove the one thing this pattern depends on, which is your need to fix it right then and there. I want to be honest about something here because it matters. Recognizing DARVO doesn't mean the original conversation you were trying to have suddenly gets resolved. Often it doesn't. What changes is not the outcome of that specific conversation. What changes is you no longer walking away convinced that you were the problem. There's one more layer worth mentioning because it explains why this pattern shows up so reliably in situations involving actual accountability, workplace conflicts, custody disputes, even public statements after real wrongdoing. DARVO isn't just a relationship tactic. It's a documented pattern that shows up whenever someone with something to lose is confronted with evidence of harm they caused. The stakes change, but the sequence almost never does. Deny first, attack second, reverse the roles third. So here's what I want you to take from this practically. First, expect the sequence. Denial, then attack, then reversal, is remarkably consistent once you know to look for it. Second, don't get pulled into defending yourself against the attack phase. It's a distraction, not a real point. Third, let conversations end without resolution when resolution isn't actually available. And fourth, and maybe most important, stop measuring whether you handled it right by whether they ended up agreeing with you. That was never actually the goal of the conversation, and it was never truly on the table to begin with. If this describes something you've experienced, tell me in the comments. Which part of DARVO hit hardest for you? The denial, the attack, or the reversal? I read every one. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because next time we're breaking down covert narcissism, the quiet, humble-seeming type that's often far harder to identify than the loud, obvious version most people picture when they hear the word narcissist.